Hey everybody, Paul Angelo here from the Big Gay Family Social Program. Let's talk about BDSM. In this video, I'd like to show you why everything that is associated with BDSM is a bad thing that you should avoid. So we're going to talk about BDSM as enabling for mixing pain with sex and mixing abuse with pleasure. So the essence of BDSM is that it introduces pain and abuse and justifies it. Now, I'm sure if you've been a gay person for a while, if you've been around the block like myself, you've been around BDSM. You've been around people that want to play the master or be slaves. There's a lot of fantasies that have to do with rape. A lot of men want to participate in the domination and submission dynamic. Why does this happen? You might ask. What's going on here? Before we go into that, I do want to share with you this distinction here about sex. I talked about this in one of my previous videos, that there are three types of sex. And remember that BDSM is part of the shadow sex. So you can have sex for closeness, to get off, just to release a lot of tension, stress, and also shadow sex. You're acting out hurt and abuse that has been bestowed upon you. So you have been abused. And then you're acting it out, and this is called shadow sex. So according to my understanding and my experience, men, gay men, or anybody, this is not just gay, this is straight too, anybody who participates in bondage, sadomasochism, when they mix pain with sex or abuse with pleasure, that this pain and this abuse is their projection, it's their healing, they're acting out. And when you enter into this world, you are entering into a world that often invites people with a lot of hurt and abuse in their past. Often, they become victimized by the psychopathic and sociopathic and narcissistic men that are actually hurt, that may have been abused in the past, but unfortunately, those men can't be healed anymore. And this is the distinction, that if you are a healthy person, if you have empathy for others and caring for animals, for the world, if you feel upset when you see a cat or a dog at the side of the street hurting, when you feel taken by a lot of the messages of hurt in the world, you are a healthy person. And when you enter into this BDSM world, you will come across men who are going to take advantage of that. It's very important that you understand that the sadomasochism dynamic requires a victim. Sometimes we have the psychopathic, sociopathic, narcissistic men that volunteer for that because they don't have any sense of self on the level of innocence, so that they don't have the motivation to protect themselves. And then there are men like you who actually are normal. You are alive, you're healthy mentally. And when you enter into this world, you will come across psychopathic dynamics. And I've known men who are the dumb tops, and all across the board, straight up, all of them, I believe, are psychopathic, narcissistic, and abusive, sociopathic. So when you enter into this world, you will come across mostly very, very risky and toxic situations. Now, you're going to probably say, I disagree with you. Why are you exaggerating this so much? And I'm going to share with you the foundation for this. So the foundation for a lot of the life that we have as gay men is the foundation of trauma cycle. So we start with shame, and shame is minimization. Shame is basically partial coming out. A lot of you assume that you've come out and everything's great. No, most gay men interact in sex-only interactions. There's no emotion, no spirituality, no true intellect. So this is basically shame. Because of that minimization and reductionary fragmentation of the interactions, it's always sex. Because of that, you're going to have a lot of surprises and traumas, because you're not interacting in a wholesome way. So there's always something that's missing. There's always something that's not right. There's always distrust, breakdown of boundaries. And from there is anger. So this is why the sadomasochistic tendencies and domination and submission are so common in the gay population, because we've got a lot of anger that then leads to arousal. anger and the hurt is the reason for a lot of the sex, not the fact that men are horny and out of control. It's the abuse. This is the space where most gay men end up, and this is the detachment, dissociation box. I call it the death box, because that's also when often we have delusion and denial, because the brain and your consciousness has to somehow protect itself against all of this consistent shame, trauma, arousal, shame, trauma. This is where you're spinning. And so your brain is going to have to say, wait a second, I don't feel comfortable here. I'm going to invent a new reality to justify what's happening. Now, it's important that you recognize one more thing that's happening in society. This is how it used to be. It used to be that by the age of 20, people would be mature. Their sexual development, their identity, their emotions, their masculinity would have been developed by a certain age. In this example, it's 20. And this is how it used to be many, many years ago. And as you can probably imagine, this is not how it is today. Today we have an extension. So we have men that are maturing towards the end of their lives. I'm telling you this because what we see is a developmental variability that will produce more trauma and more anger. Therefore, this is the reason why you're going to see in the gay population more pain and more abuse as part of sex and pleasure. So this is why we have so much BDSM. We've got the pop play, the people that wear masks, and the sadomasochistic submission domination dynamics. These dynamics are not because everything's great. No, these dynamics are because things are not so great, because everything is shadow sex. We're not talking about closeness, we're talking about shadow sex. So these are acting out. These sexual experiences don't really lead to any intimacy. And I think you do have to agree that when you want true intimacy, you cannot have pain. So when we talk about abuse and pain, there is no intimacy here. There is no closeness. You're not making progress. You're not being rejuvenated. You're being abused. You're being abused. So whenever you come across the BDSM dynamics, I say run as far as you can. Run and never look back, and never contact those individuals. Never. Once you dip your toe into the BDSM dynamics, it's like dipping your toes into poison. And this poison will take up your life, take up your soul, take up your body. You never want to have pain or abuse in any human interaction. And that should be your standard. Once you have this standard, then you have a chance to have beautiful relationships. And this is what my life has been all about over the past 10 years, to create an opportunity for abuse-free, pain-free interactions with other gay men. And this is why Big Gay Family is so popular. This is why Big Gay Family is so successful, because we have an environment where there is no submission domination, there is no sadomasochism, there is none of that pain and abuse. And this is what we all need. This is the solution to a lot of the complexities that you see with sex, with dating, with meeting men today. There's too much anger, too much trauma, too much arousal that is taking over and sending us into sexual behaviors that are simply making things worse. Mixing pain with sex, abuse with pleasure will create cognitive dissonance, will create complexities that often require therapeutic intervention, often require a prolonged amount of self-reflection. Because if you are one of the healthy ones and you're subjected to sadomasochism or pain, your unconscious will seek to resolve that situation and send you into corrective measures that are part of acting out. And that cycle often takes many years. So protect yourself from this level complications. Protect yourself from interacting with men that will send you down the spiral of self-abuse and self-hate. Ultimately, take your life into your hands. Meet men that are loving, that are kind, in an environment that is supportive, that is authentic and neutral, where this time around you connect to men, not because of the desire to be abused or searching for some kind of sexual fantasy, but instead connecting to men authentically, connecting to them spiritually, emotionally, and then bringing sexuality and having it all under the umbrella of a wholesome experience with other people. So to do that, join us at the Big Gay Family social program. Recently, we introduced the Universal Dating Protocol and Intimacy Codes. So we have the adventurous dating experience waiting for you today. So join us, visit the website biggayfamily.com and begin your transformation. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and let's learn together. Okay, my friends, signing off. I'll see you soon. Take care.
So much truth, feeling so alive, and I am ready for a change, something new, something special, something original. And I love my new friends from the Big Gay Family social program. You don't need to be a single lover anymore. You can be who you want to be. Just let your love set you free. Be who you want it to be. Be who you want it to be. And I love my new life with the Big Gay Family social program. So much love, so much truth, being so complete. Be who you want it to be. Let your love set you free. Be who you want it to be. Stronger, stronger.